Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the EntraPass 8.60 presentation. We're pretty happy to have launched 8.60 a few weeks ago, and now we're presenting you with the cool new add-ons for it. Now, before we get to the actual features of 8.60, we decided to make it a bit more interesting for you guys. We're giving away two things. Mr. Jason, what are we giving out?
Well, Tom, we're going to give out a Kantech branded t-shirt for the most interesting question on topic. But we're also giving out a great jacket, especially coming in right now in the winter. It's a great Eddie Bauer branded Kantech jacket. So we're going to do a drawing on that for everyone in attendance today. I know this is going to be a great webinar. I know the GoPass Direct BLE is huge for us. I think since we've launched, we've already given, I think, 1,000 credentials out. So it's great. The word's getting out. And kind of like as Tom said, if you guys have questions along the way, I'll be in the chat room actually answering everything that's going on. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Tom.
That's amazing. Thank you, Jason. Those are cool prizes. The jacket especially is pretty cool, especially us in up northern Canada where we freeze, or the northern states. So the t-shirt, guys, prepare your questions. Now, it's on topic. Don't get creative. Let's get creative with the questions that are on the PowerPoint. So new features that we're adding. We're improving our elevator floor management, something you guys have been asking for a little while. Again, we listen to you guys, to our customers, and we're adding elevator floor management changes. We are changing our GoPass behavior. We're actually making it a lot better, and you guys are gonna see, like Jason says, a lot of GoPass cool changes are added. Windows 2022 support. That's actually pretty new. We're keeping up with the times. And guess what? We have it in 2022. This is great for us. And we're actually adding a new language. If you are not in North America and you want to speak a Creole or Haitian, depending on which part of it, how you see it, we have a new language available natively in the platform. All right, let's go look at it. So with EntraPass software, we now support Windows 2022 server. So the newest, latest Windows server is now supported with EntraPass 8.60. So you can take advantage of it. We still support all the existing Microsoft Windows servers that are operational and active by Microsoft. So 2012, 2018, and 2022. I missed one during the spec just in case. Now, it is supported with EntraPass 8.60. Now, what is EntraPass 8.60 specifically? We traditionally have three softwares. With EntraPass 8.60, we decided to tweak it a bit. We are only launching EntraPass Special Edition and Corporate Edition. There is no EntraPass Global Edition for this version, all right? So if you're running EntraPass Global Edition or you're running a Hatrix platform, your latest, greatest is EntraPass 8.5. So we're not launching Global 8.6. Don't worry, EntraPass will be coming back in the next version in 8.70. It will be bigger and larger with a lot more features with it. So for EntraPass 8.60, it is special and corporate edition only. Okay. Let's go look at what we're adding and changing in our platform. We're actually adding a single elevator floor management. This gives us the ability to do elevator controls, but with one floor at a time. Before, you had to make a floor group and you had to create this floor group and unlock a floor individually. Now, you simply can choose a specific floor and unlock it via the software. So for an operator, he simply unlocks any floor he wants. It is available from the workstation, and it is available from the EntraPass web. So you can use the web or the workstation to do individual floor control of your elevator itself. And we do have new firmware for our controllers because this is a hardware feature. It is going to be working without the software. Obviously, the request has to come from the software, but the benefit of this is even though you lose your software, everything continues to work and the controller takes over as we need to. So with the single floor management, we can unlock and lock floors manually. We can temporarily unlock them and even give them one-time access. But what's really, really cool isn't the actual floor unlocking, because I could have done like 25 floor groups if I really wanted to. Well, what's really cool is that the floors now are stackable. That means the previous command, the new command isn't going to erase the previous command. So if I had a floor group in the past of floors 2 and 3 that were unlocked, and then I unlocked a different floor group, well, that floor group would override the previous one. Now, if I unlock floors 2 and 4 separately, it will also unlock the floor 5 and 6 or 1 as I wish it. This is very cool because now we can control each one from the workstation and the web. Come to the floor groups, guess what? You can stack them together as a group, obviously, and the groups will work the same way. Now, guys, don't forget, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the question portion. Or if you're very happy about this feature, you could say, Tom, that's the best feature ever, or, other words if you want. It is available from the EntraPass web. We wanted to make sure that the EntraPass web and the workstation both had the same features because this is a feature that an operator would use. The operator would go and use the EntraPass web to unlock a door, to perform an action. Now, think about this as an operator at a station, like a receptionist, right, in a high rise or somewhere. He can go and click on the elevator, unlock the floor he wants, and he can pick a floor or multiple floors at the same time and unlock those floors directly if he wants. So they're stackable, and you can do multi-selection at the same time. What else do we need? Well, there's more. Not only do we unlock the floors individually, but we also can see their statuses. So now in the EntraPass web and in the EntraPass workstation, we can definitely see the floor statuses and what they're at. I can see that floor 3 is disabled, floor 1 and 2 is manually unlocked, and so on and so forth. I can see all the statuses of all the floors that are not in their normal operation. So again, as an operator, as a guard, or as a receptionist, I can see the real-time status of what the elevator is representing those buttons as, those floor choices physically in the elevator. This gives again a realistic real-time access of what's going on. What we don't show here, obviously, is all the locked floors because they're naturally locked, and any access granted. Showing access granted is not something that you're going to sit and that take 2 seconds to show. Does anybody have any questions? You guys like this? I see Bruno likes it. Yes, he liked it a lot. I see. So I think, Jason, nobody wants that T-shirt because they're. Oh, you will do it. Bruno wants the T-shirt. Okay.
Yeah. Bruno wants it.
Bruno wants it. You can ask some questions, guys. Don't forget. Or if not, I take it. Or Jason. We'll see. But I can ask a question. Jason can ask one. But if you guys ask a better one, you guys get the T-shirt. Don't be shy, and it's free delivery. We ship it to you. EntraPass GoPass. It's a little play on words, but we're cutting the cord on the Wi-Fi and LTE connection. Get it? Now we're no longer dependent on Wi-Fi with EntraPass GoPass. EntraPass GoPass has been around for a little while and has been serving us very well, but we wanted to go even one step further, push this to the next level, and we are introducing direct BLE connectivity with EntraPass GoPass. Now, we just didn't take BLE and remove Wi-Fi. That would be too easy, right? That would be so basic. We went one step further. We're actually adding direct BLE communication to the reader, but also encrypting it. Modern encryption added to Bluetooth, making it secure as much as possible within Bluetooth, right? So now there's four things that have been done with the EntraPass GoPass on the security side. First, it's a direct connect, right? So no more do we have EntraPass. The whole platform, it will connect directly to the reader and send out a card number directly to the controller, and the controller decides. So no more emails, no more Wi-Fi, no more, server requirement. All natively based to the reader, the controller, and the phone. Now, first, what we did is we added a 256-bit AES encryption between the reader and the phone. So we really encrypted that data to make sure the number that you're getting is the correct number. We also have rotating key connections. Above and beyond the card number, we want to make sure that you are who you say you are, and the information that's presented is valid and fully accurate, even if you're in an offline mode, right? The KT controller manages all aspects. So a lot of misconception about mobile credential is that people think that the user taps the button, taps the screen or whatever, but the door will unlock. Well, yes, it will unlock if you have access to the door, but natively, who decides? It's the controller that decides if you're gonna get in. It's the controller. So if you're in armed state, if you're in anti-passback, or you have man traps, or you have alarm panel integration, all these are managed by the controller, and it determines if you're gonna get in. So the controller has the final say at all times. Mobile credentials is like swiping a card in a reader. It doesn't mean you're gonna get in if you don't have access to the door, obviously. Also, we want to make sure to further say who you say you are. We provide you an intelligent link to pair your phone to your credential. So the first thing we did is the intelligent link. It's a one-time use link that is sent from EntraPass all the way down to the phone. So from EntraPass, you get an email, and that email has two steps. Step one, it says to download the app. So you click on the link that you have based on an iPhone or an Android, and then you install the app. It's completely free to download the app. Once you've downloaded it, you click on the second step to pair your phone to your system. This will issue that mobile credential directly to the controller if you want. All right? And when it pairs that phone to the platform, that link is no longer used anymore or useful at all. Because if you forward that email, it's going to get rejected because we paired that phone to EntraPass. Makes it even more secure so people can't pretend to be you, right? Now, this email has to be used on the native mail app of your iPhone or your Gmail app on your Android. So the native mail app of each device. Now, what happens if you have an iPhone 13 and you want to go to the iPhone 14, which is slightly better with the same features but double the price? What do? Well, no problem. You can reissue a new credential, a new key, sent down to that phone. There's no cost, there's no licensing required. It's part of the key that you can move from one person to another. So it's not a one-time use. You are the person and you have a mobile credential, which we don't care which phone you have access to. So the good thing is it's your key for you to use whenever you want on any phone that you have, obviously one at a time. That's pretty cool, I think. Security keys or rotating keys. So what we've added as an option, you can leave it on, you can adjust it, you can even turn this off if you want in certain scenarios. It gives you the ability of having rotating keys above and beyond the card number, above and beyond the built-in encryption that we have from the phone to the reader to make sure that they're all paired, right? You can't just walk up to a random reader and pretend to be somebody. But we have on top of all that, we have rotating keys to make sure that the EntraPass software sends down a rotating key to the reader and to the controller, right? And down to the phone. So what happens when this happens is before you even press the button on your screen to unlock a door, before any of this, it actually verifies if the keys are valid. And if the keys are valid, that's when you can unlock the door and request a command to be sent. So the benefit of this, for example, if your controller is offline for 5 days or something, or your door is offline for 5 days, you could turn off the phone remotely and it will physically disconnect your phone from working without even deactivating the card. Kind of a last minute fail safe. Now, don't worry. If you have a site that is very far, you could turn off the rotating keys and it will use the same encryption key for that session or that person whenever you want. Now, the benefit here is that once you've done your initial connection, it requires an SMTP connection, an email connectivity, you no longer have to worry about the using the server anymore. Just turn off your rotating keys and you can start using it fully encrypted directly from the reader to the controller. Something to mention, the reader has to be RS-45 back to the controller. It only supports over RS-45 back to the controller, which is the KT2, the KT1, and the KT400. And we also have new firmware for our controllers to support all this. So if you have a KT2 or a KT1, you can definitely use GoPass mobile credentials. Same thing with a KT400. If you have an iOSmart, you will require to firmware upgrade your iOSmart to 1.09. So the good part of all this, guys, is if you had iOSmarts, no problem. Download the latest firmware, plug in your controllers over RS-45, and then definitely firmware upgrade them to the latest version. There's no reader left behind. All the iOSmart readers will support the firmware 109 with the direct BLE connectivity. All right, so you could easily change your customer from whatever you have to iOSmart. Now, guys, one thing I want to tell you guys about is if you're using a Kantech controller, which are the best, by the way, but just regardless, if you're using a Kantech controller with an iOSmart reader, always wire them RS-45. Take advantage of all the bells and whistles of having an iOSmart reader over RS-45 with a controller. Gives you more power, gives you BLE directly, and mobile credentials. Now you're like, Tom, I gotta teach my customer how to use your mobile credentials. That's a lot of extra work, more training for my operator, more steps to write down. Well, it's very, very easy. There's nothing new for your customer to do. You program his card holder like you always did. You program his username. You program his access level, and you enter a card number. If you have plastic cards, like iOSmart cards or anything else, great. If you don't, put any number you want, any unique number. And then the hardest part of all, you make sure they have a valid email. So you enter the email address, and then you check enable GoPass. That's it. It's a 5-step process, and you're doing this for most of the cards anyways. It's all in the same menu. It's available from the web. It's available from EntraPass Go from your mobile application, and it's available from the workstation. So there's no two interfaces. There's no two different platforms. There's no website to log in and double entry. All this work is done from within EntraPass, from the exact same menu you're used to. And other than checking enable GoPass, there's not really extra work required here, right? And this will automatically send an email directly to the person where he can now pair his phone, as I was saying before, by clicking on step number 2. There's no thought process. You click on step number 2, it does all the work for you and it connects right away. In the case that he has to change phone or he broke his phone, he got stolen or whatever, very simple. You could either deactivate the GoPass by unchecking it, and that will sever the GoPass connection. And or there's a checkbox called send email notification, which is on your screen right there, and it will reissue a new mobile credential link. That will be a new email that will be sent back to the controller, back to the user to his phone, and he can repair the new phone. So it will sever the old connection, and now you have to re-click on that link. But Tom, that's gonna cost him a license. What happens? No, there's no extra cost of a license. There's nothing. Once you have your GoPass, that GoPass can be used for as long as you want, right? If you want to get rid of a GoPass, you just uncheck enable GoPass, and the license is recuperated. If you want to reissue a license, you just check enable GoPass, and you issue a license. As simple as that. If they lose their phone, you just resend them a new link. It will disconnect the old link, but nothing changes on the licensing side. Isn't that amazing? Well, I see the questions are coming in. People really want that T-shirt. Look at Brad. I can't even read that question so long. This is actually very cool. So, very good. Now, we've been around for 36 or 37 years now. I lost track after a while, but in the high 30s years. Uh, we don't want to leave anybody behind. We have all our controls. We support the KT200 still around, our old IO prox readers, and we have a lot of KT300s out there. But none of these readers have RS-45, and none of these readers have BLE. So what do? With GoPass, we have an option, it's built in, once you have GoPass, to not leave a reader behind. Now, you're not going to get all the bells and whistles as the IO Smart over RS-485, but you can use it as a hybrid mode if you want. A hybrid mode says that don't worry about the BLE. Let me unlock a door from anywhere I want directly over Wi-Fi. So I can use the Wi-Fi connectivity to unlock a door, but it won't use the BLE or the BLE beacon to be able to use GoPass. So again, if you have an IO prox with a KT300, you can definitely use the hybrid mode to allow you to use GoPass over Wi-Fi. And as you're changing them to IO Smart and KT2 controllers over RS-45 or KT400 controllers over RS-45, you simply start using the BLE connectivity directly. There's no change to the user. The user stays the same, but now it's going fully direct BLE, and obviously you have a distance that you have to read because BLE is not endless compared to Wi-Fi, right? So what are the requirements for this? It's very simple. We require EntraPass Corporate Edition with a smart link. We require port 8801. If you notice carefully, that's the same port as your EntraPass Web. So if you're using your EntraPass Web, simple as that. You don't have to do any extra work, just simply a license thing. and it works on Android and iPhone users. Now, I do see some questions about emails in here. So the email connectivity will be sent out from any email server. If you have Office 365 or you have your own Exchange server, or if you're using Gmail, doesn't matter. The email will go out and it'll be fine. It's on the user's phone. On the user's phone, we have to use the native mail app of the phone. So on an iPhone, the native mail app to receive emails is called Mail. You have to use that mail app. Now, 99% of the people are going to use the native mail app of iPhone because that's how the Apple is built. They force you towards that. Now, some people may want to use Gmail or Hotmail or something like that. So no problem. In that case, you have to use the mail app or use the alternative, which I'm going to cover in a second. On an Android, you have to use the Gmail app, which is the native app of the Androids. So if you're using an Android device, you got to use Gmail to connect it. Now, if you wish to use something else, if you want to be a maverick, a rebel, let's say, you know what? I don't want to use Gmail. I don't want to use Mail. I want to use Hotmail or Yahoo or whatever. No problem. You can. In the email, there's a specific part that tells you to use the HTML page of the email. Kind of a fail safe to the links. If your links are missing, there's a button you click on and it gives you the links manually. It's one small extra process. We include an HTML page in the email, which will render on any browser you want, and it will pretty much work right away. All right. And somebody wrote in the chat. Yes, so let's talk about one second. All right. So, how do I order this fabulous thing? Well, it's available for Hatrix and it's available for EntraPass, right? So now be careful in Hatrix. Whoever has Hatrix, so Neil and Kellen and Steve, if I didn't miss the rest, I apologize. With Hatrix, it is a monthly subscription, but it is only available with 8.50 using a Wi-Fi BLE hybrid communication. If you want to use strict BLE, you're going to have to wait for the upcoming version of EntraPass that's going to come up, which will be EntraPass Hatrix 8.7, right? But again, if you want to use it today, you could definitely use GoPass. It's been around, but it will use Wi-Fi. Now, the good thing about Hatrix, it is a cloud-based platform that you can use whenever you want. So having Wi-Fi or not, it doesn't matter. The BLE part is still there. There is still BLE beacons being worked inside the platform. So it looks and feels like direct BLE, but it uses Wi-Fi. For EntraPass GoPass licensing in EntraPass Corporate Edition, you can buy them in packs of 10, 50, 100, or 500. So you can buy those in different sets of packs. If you want to use them, you just add and add and add. Now, what happens if you have 10 people and they won the Powerball last week and two of them went away because you have 8 people left? Well, no problem. Good for them. They just won $2 billion. The rest of the people have to continue working. But when you hire new people, their Go passes are not wasted. Their Go passes are completely reusable. So you always have that amount of seats. Whether you disconnect them, you reissue them, you revoke them, doesn't matter. As long as they're not used, given to somebody, they're available for you. They're yours pretty much to be used. So if you bought 10, you'll always have 10 Go passes available for you. That's pretty cool, actually. Now, what happens the next year, year 2, year 3? Well, you have Go passes. They're yours. It's a one-time purchase, right? All thing that it does, it increments your token count. So your upgrade will increment by one for your token count. Now, whether you have one Go pass or 10 or 20 or 50, doesn't matter. You have one token that's going to be incrementing by. You guys like this? I see a lot of questions. You guys are keeping Jason busy. Somebody really wants that shirt. Daniel, your people are stepping up for the questions. It's good. Now, do you guys want more? Or do you guys have enough? I think we do more, Jason, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So now we're not saying buy GoPass and do whatever you want, right? We're actually giving GoPasses 5 free GoPasses with any 8.60 corporate edition registration. So if you buy brand new corporate version out there, right? You register it online like you normally do, and one of our associates will email you a 5 GoPass license to add to your platform. There's no cost, there's no commitment, and it doesn't even cost you a token. So even though you add it or not, your upgrade costs, your maintenance, everything stays 100% the same. We send you an app note how to configure GoPass. You use it. You now have 5 free mobile credentials you can use to your 5 favorite friends that work there, obviously, not your real friend, but your colleagues that work there, right? Now, what if you want to upgrade? What if you upgrade? Again, we don't like to leave anybody behind. If you wish to upgrade to any version to 860, so corporate edition, I mean, if you want to upgrade corporate to 860, you simply reach out to your regional sales manager or your local rep with a screenshot of the help and about, right, the registration page, and we will email you back 5 GoPasses right away within a day or two. You get your 5 GoPasses sent to you. You simply register them and use them for that customer. So they're yours. They don't charge you any upgrade costs. They're totally free to use for that customer as you wish. You guys like this? All right. So yeah, so please go ahead. We've given out, I think, just over 1,000 GoPass seats since this promo started with 860. We imagine just corporate edition. Can you imagine with the global edition? And as now you guys all learn this, and 860 takes maturity, we'll be giving out so many GoPass seats. We're gonna have GoPass everywhere. All right. So if you have any questions, guys, now will be the time to ask them. There's one more topic I want to talk to you guys about. It's not a feature, but we wanted to clarify some stuff on firmware because you guys have been hearing rumors and stuff, so we want to make sure it's clear as clear water, as they say. All right. So Jason, you had a lot of questions, eh? That made you work the second part. Good.
That's fine. I don't mind talking.
That's perfect. A lot of questions is better for us. All right, guys. So before we give we'll go through the questions, let's talk about the firmware. So as you guys have been aware, people have been talking about firmware, so we've sent emails out and technical advisory bulletin, as they call them. So I want to summarize what's good and how you should make it work. It's pretty straightforward. Uh, we launched a new platform firmware for our controllers, which is version 3. It's mostly under the hood stuff. And obviously, that's their new firmware going forward. In early February, we had an announcement that people should avoid upgrading to 305 and should go directly to 306. Now, after heavy testing, we have concluded that 3.06 firmware on the KT1 and the KT2 are very good firmware versions. There is no problems, except for little details I'll cover in a second. There is no known EntraPass firmware problems with 3.06. If you have a 3.05 or a 3.02 firmware we strongly recommend you upgrading to 3.06. It's a matter of upgrading your platform. We have a document out there. So if you have a 3.02 or 3.05 and you're at 8.3 EntraPass, you can upgrade to 3.06. Now, if you have a 3.06 firmware or any version 3 firmware on an older version of EntraPass, it will work. So not because you have the latest firmwares that you cannot use it in any version of EntraPass. As long as the EntraPass version is supported with the version, like for example 602, 603, those are really old versions, but they will support the KT1, obviously, even the latest firmware. Okay, the only small limitation, you can't do intrusion integration until you get to 8.30. Now, so firmware 3.06 is perfectly fine for KT1 and KT2. So that's basically what the document was trying to explain to you guys. In the unlikely event that you have a 3.06 firmware controller and you wish to use CloudView, or you want to use the built-in web server of EntraPass, the KT standalone, that means a non-EntraPass plugin. So it's not plugged into EntraPass, it's plugged in by itself or other stuff. There are some small controllers, like a handful or something, maybe a few of them, that require a newer firmware, which is firmware 3.08. All right. And if you have a KT400 and you're at version 3X, you're perfectly fine. Stay at that version or upgrade to 3.01, no problem whatsoever. Now, with the KT400, the problem wasn't the firmware itself, was the transitionary firmware that was problematic a bit. If you had 209, you have to go to 210 first. 210 is released with EntraPass 8.60 to let you upgrade to 3X afterwards. Because if you have a 209 and you upgrade to 3X, you may cause a bit of confusion. You're like, Tom, that's a lot of things to remember. This and that minus this equals that. And like on Sound said, you have a matrix. I think that's probably the best question so far. I'm going to read them all. So, of course, you have a matrix. It's very simple. If you have a KT400, you can run version 3X or version 301 with no problem, and the migration to 3X has to be at 210, right? If you have a KT2, you can run version 308 or 306, no problem, and the migration goes at 209. Now, if you're already at 3, you don't care about the migration, right? If you're at KT1, you can use version 3.08 or version 3.06, no problems, as you wish. Now, not to make it that simple, but you guys also heard, we sent an announcement last week, that if you have a KT2 exclusively, just KT2, and you are using DSC or a peer integration, we will be launching an updated 3.08 firmware to address DSC and Apereo integration over RS-232. That one only applies on the KT2. All right, so bottom line, if you use our latest, greatest firmware, 306 and higher for the KT1s and 2s, and the 301 or 3X for the KT400, you do not have any problems. Alexander, does that answer your question? Is it a good matrix for you? Right? Don't forget that all of our firmware are backwards compatible, right? Yes, Jason.
I was just looking through the member center real quick. Do we have a link that's showing where the compatibility matrix for firmware?
No, we don't have a link for the compatibility matrix. Not a bad idea. Maybe we could write something like this. Under the firmware menu of the KT1, we have a notice that you can read. It kind of summarizes the previous page for the KT1. The KT400 it's gonna be 860 or higher if you want to upgrade them. Now, don't forget, guys, not because it's upgrading, but usability is backwards compatible with the versions you have, right? If you have a 3x308 KT2, you can use that in 840 and 850. That's when the KT2 came out, right? The KT1 came out in 6.02. That goes back a little while, 2015 actually. So to give you an example, you're not stuck with the latest, greatest. You're just the firmware of the controller. All right. Does that answer your question, Jason?
Yes. Yes, it did.
Perfect. Thank you.